Looking at about 40 seconds, ladies, 40 seconds until we are racing here under the sun in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We hope you have a safe race, a fun race, and we will see you all at the finish line here in a few moments' time. Albuquerque, let's make some noise here today. Let's make some noise and send off these women just under 20 seconds until we are racing full gas here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. With just about 10 seconds time, listen for the whistle. Good luck and have fun. National championship on the line here today. And we're racing here in Albuquerque, our women's varsity race. We're really looking forward to today's Criterium race. We have so many very standout riders in this field from a number of different schools. Katie Klaus wearing number 102. This is her final collegiate race of her career. She very much wanted the road race yesterday. She tried a number of times, but today it comes down to this. Will she be one to get that national championship jersey? Her teammate Olivia Cummins also very strong, but Cassidy Hickey, her other CMU teammate, Hickey having won the road race yesterday with a fantastic sprint, will be one to watch. And then Kate Seiler, also another strong rider. Lindsay Gonzalez from Marian University, second yesterday. Very strong sprint on her, very quick sprint, and with this slight downhill sprint to play advantage to her. Now, Lindenwood University, this is their final road event of their career. Lindenwood University is not continuing their collegiate program, and so this will be their final road event ever, so we wish them all the best of luck today. Savannah College of Art and Design, always bringing strong riders. Tatiana Gomez was on the Colombian national team as a junior. She's been on podiums many times for her American studies here at Savannah College of Art and Design. Milligan University with Samantha Clark. Sammy having a strong season already, winning the conference championships. And then her other teammate, Michaela McPherson, racing World Tour last year with Human Powered Health on my start sheet today. Fort Lewis with Kylie Small winning their championship event a few months ago and being in the break yesterday, really driving the pace of that breakaway. Small from Fort Lewis will be one to watch. Lise McRae, always a great program. From Piedmont University, Izzy Harden in the field today. Harden in the middle there with the black helmet. Number 253, having raced on a number of professional teams on the road for her trade team. Scad Savannah bringing the heat, and then Molly Hayes, your conference winner and the individual time trial champion from this year's competition. All on our start sheet today. So a lot of horsepower, a lot of things that could happen here today with this race. The wind was very much a factor in our men's club race, not so much in the women's club race because the wind died down. Now, similarly enough, for this varsity event, the wind has definitely died down from how it was when we had our club men on the course. Now that may change. You see cloud cover shift, that would change the wind intensity at certain points. So keep you posted on wind intensity and whether or not that will be affecting our race. It's a sunny day up here in high desert. We're about a mile high, maybe a little shy. We don't want to steal that title from Denver. But we're very high, as it were. And we're also at an airfield, so it's very exposed. Hydration and nutrition will be very important for the success of anybody out here today. And then you've got the good old fatigue in the legs. This is the third day of racing. Many of these women participated in the team time trial or the individual time trial on Friday. Yesterday was a brutally hard road race course. Doing 2 passes up Heartbreak Hill out of routes 344 and Frost Road and some of the roads out there. Bernalillos County. Thank you to Bernalillos Park and Recs for hosting us yesterday and volunteering all of your time to make yesterday a success. And here we are today, third race in. And with that, you have a lot of things on the line. Not only do you have this national championship on the line, you have an All-American prize on the line, you have an individual Omnium prize on the line, and you have a team Omnium prize on the line. Which is about 3 laps into this contest, 5 minutes in. Marion right up there. You see Davis up there. Piedmont University with Izzy Harden up there. Looks like Harden's going to be losing 2 teammates though here pretty quickly. Field relatively strung out right now, being led by CMU. So this is a nice strategy where after a sprint preem, CMU trying to keep the pace high to get rid of more riders from the back.
But it's 4 points? Yeah. Okay. It was 8. It was 8, now 4. Wait one more sprint. Yeah.
Gonzalez has now halved the lead. Cassie Hickey leading the Omnium right now. Hickey leading. She came into the race with an 8-point advantage. Gonzalez just cut that in half. So now Hickey only has a 4-point advantage in the Omnium. Seiler on the front, doing some pace setting, keeping the tempo, got high. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Some riders getting themselves into trouble here, including Lizzie Gonzalez. So CMU's tactics are working well. Gonzalez is on the wrong side of one of these splits right now. Gonzalez won the intermediate sprint, cut the margin of deficit in half. However, Gonzalez is not part of the field right now. Gonzalez is now in a chase group. That's the delicate balance of these intermediate sprints, is that you need to do enough to get the reward, but not so much that you take yourself out of the race, because all the Omnium points that she will earn may be nullified if she gets removed from this race. She may be still placed, but it will not be enough points. She is still second in the Omnium right now. Hickey, Cassie Hickey from CMU, leading by 4 points right now. Some riders being told they're on their final lap as they come through the start-finish line. Riders out of contention will be pulled and placed here at the start-finish line. Your leaders being led by CMU. CMU showing us, this is Colorado Mesa University, if you're not familiar yet with their acronyms, but CMU doing a brilliant job right now in this race, really pushing the pace and putting riders like Gonzalez on their their heels. I'm trying to get a little bit of inventory here to see if Gonzalez has regained contact with this front group, or she's actually been neutralized out of this bike race by the pace of the leaders from CMU. I think that Gonzalez is still in a group back. You see the moto moving up. That group is now behind the follow moto. Could be bad. So Gonzalez losing contact on the last lap. Gonzalez not in this group. Where? She is? She's number 126 on my list. She is in there. Blue shoes. All right, Gonzalez is in there. So Gonzalez is in there. Thank you, Marion, for clarifying that. Blue shoes dancing their way into that. So Gonzalez in the race, and with CMU doing the pace setting at the front. Colorado Mesa, though, is gaining an advantage in numbers as they start to remove rival teams' advantage in that regard. Big attacks, though, coming out right now out of turn at number 1. You're seeing a big split occurring at the front of this field, a group of 3 maybe. At the front, two riders separating themselves with 3 in chase. You have a group of 5 now. Just a tiny little margin, but it's enough of a margin. We'll see who these aggressors are. We'll also notably see if it's any yellow shoulders of CMU or not. CMU definitely chasing it right now, which will lead us to believe that they are not in that mix. It does look like the blue shoulders and red bike there, Kylie Small was the aggressor of that move. Small on the front right now, everybody single file behind. You see Milligan Kit very high up in that order as well. That could be Michaela McPherson or Samantha Clark. We are starting to tail a few other riders off the back. Well, this group, very tight. We're reduced the overall size of our field by half, even within the first third of this race. And again, first third is when you really try to establish whether or not somebody's got legs for the day or not. 70 minutes total race, so we're not quite into that first third completion. As we turn out of turn 6, the motos indicating what is considered as our field. And our field now down to just this select group of women. And there's a Preem bell, ladies. Preem on the next lap. Preem on the next lap. Omnium points on the line. Preem on the next lap. Preem on the next lap. Preem on the next lap. We'll see if accelerations take place late. We're currently allowing the riders at the front to do most of the pace setting. Nice little chase groups forming back here. Working well together. Meanwhile, up at the field, we are still all together. It looks like CMU trying to put themselves into the protected position up front to set up Hickey to get maximum points. If Gonzalez can get maximum points and Hickey scores second or lower, the Hickey will be able to retain the lead, but that gap will be halved again, down to just 2 points. Gonzalez only 4 points out of the Omnium lead right now, coming into this intermediate sprint. Placing of points, 7 points for the winner, 5 points for third, 3 points for 7 points for the winner, 5 points for second, 3 points for third, and 1 point for fourth. CMU definitely doing the pace setting right now, definitely trying to get Hickey some points. Trying to pick out where I see the Marion kit with blue shoes from across the way. We are single file right now as we come into turn at number 5, now between 5 and 6, all single file. Nice turn of speed here by these women as we are coming into turn 6. Wind is starting to pick up though, which means when they make this turn onto the home straight, could be faced with a little bit of headwind, which will shorten up that sprint a little. CMU on the front looking good right now. CMU still trying to be in control now, faced with a little bit of headwind. You can see that widening of the field indicating that. Out of the saddle, trying to get Hickey there. Hickey looking strong, checking the shoulder. Can she get herself all the way to the line? And she will. Izzy Harden getting herself there. Gonzalez not scoring on that last intermediate sprint. So Hickey scoring at maximum points, Gonzalez not scoring, and so Hickey will now go back out on the advantage. Hickey is now looking at she just scored 7 points, she had a 4 points, so she has an 11-point advantage now in the Omnium. So 11 points advantage for Hickey as she scored maximum points that last time through on that intermediate sprint. We're now into our second third of our race here. We have established the main field. We've put riders. We're having a troublesome day in the chase position. It's going to allow your leaders to focus on each other pretty clearly. So second third of the race, now we're going to see whether or not a breakaway will come out of this lead group. Breakaway is definitely possible. The question becomes whether or not CMU wants that breakaway. And they're going to have to balance whether or not they're protecting Hickey's Omnium, or if they're going to try to give Katie Klaus a national title in her final collegiate race. And similarly, Marion University is going to be looking to set up Gonzalez for the win, keeping it in check. And then you've got the other wild cards in there. Izzy Harden for Piedmont, Riley Small for Fort Lewis. We have other schools in the mix as well. Everybody wants the national title. Michaela McPherson, I believe, is in this race for Milligan University, another very capable sprinter. Wind is really pushing right now. This is going to be a block headwind. It's going to shorten the sprint relatively considerably if it stays like this, right? It's going to make the timing completely different from what we've seen in the prior 3 sprints. So with the wind like this right now, with those yellow and red flags that we're looking at, that's going to make it such that the dynamic of timing will start to shift. The wind has been coming and going all day long, though. This may not be an indicator of what the final few laps will be, but currently it is going to affect our race. We'll see how it affects the shape of the field as they come out of turn number 6 right now. It looks like they are widening out because the flag at the top of the gantry that you're looking at as well is very strung out, and that means that it is a straight headwind for these women. Straight block headwind for our women here. Hi, Liz. Riders biding their time through this headwind section. whomever was on the front, they are allowing to stay on the front because they are doing all the work right now. And now they make that right-hand turn at turn 1. So the wind will become a cross wind. Looks like cross headwind potentially. So straight headwind to crosswind. It'll become tailwind for a hot second, crosswind, and then tailwind before cross to head again. So pretty much 70% of this course is headwind or crosswind, which is going to favor strength. This really is a pretty brutal race condition for a number of these riders. Leaders coming into turn number 3 across the airstrip. Looks like a little bit of pace setting being done at the front here, and that's because we're now into the cross tail section. So just keeping this fast, seeing if anybody at the back is having a bad day. Try to shake them loose for a bit. But remember, it's, you know, these women are being pushed through the course right now by the tailwind. It may look like the leaders have a strong advantage right now. It's really just the wind creating that visual effect. And as they make this right-hand turn, now you're at crosswind. You see a bunching start to occur with more overlaps of wheels as we look at them straight on. And then we're looking at the right-hand turn onto 6. Wind has died down again though, so a little bit of respite for them on this headwind section. And here it comes again. So blustery, right? This is airfield in New Mexico at elevation conditions in the middle of the day. Seiler on the front here for CMU. Just doing some pace setting. Cummins right behind her. Anna Christian right behind her there. Christian, a very strong rider in her own right. Going to Savannah College of Art and Design. Pretty sure she is in Atlanta campus. Anna Christian's definitely one to watch. Certainly for today, also on the ACC or USA Crits circuit races. She's certainly one that has enough punch in the sprint to be able to get herself into the top 5. We'll see how today goes for her. She is protecting herself well by riding up near the front, right behind the Colorado Mesa terrain there of Seiler and Cummins. Seems like Cummins is doing a lot of work in the race today, most likely protecting both the Omnium lead for Hickey and the positioning there of Klaus. The only reason I've talked about Katie Klaus so far is just because I think that knowing that this is her final collegiate race, that the team would be looking to get her a national championship jersey. Otherwise, she has done no work today. That's good. The deeper she can get into this race without really being at the front, the better her sprint will be of the final few laps. And here we go. We're now seeing 10 laps to go. And we're at 43 minutes of a 70-minute criterium. We're still technically within this 2/3 mark there. Just about into the final third of the day. Now this is interesting. They have a straight tailwind right now, and they're actually bunched up a bit. That's going to give riders at the back an opportunity to shuffle to the front without too much effort. So any rider that has sort of struggled with pack positioning up until this point, this is almost their free ride to get themselves up further into the bunch. Now if they can protect that position, it'll be good for them. Similarly, any riders who now found themselves at the back after that little hesitation in the tailwind section. They're going to have to do a little bit extra work to push themselves back into position at the front of this race. I'm going to turn on to 6 here momentarily. Colorado Mesa University really controlling this field right now. They know that the onus is on them as they are leading the Omnium, and they won the road race yesterday. Preem on the next lap, Preem on the next lap. 10 laps to go, ladies, and Preem on the next lap. Preem on the next lap. Omnium points up for grabs. Another rider I haven't necessarily spoken very much about is Samantha Clark. Clark winning her conference title for Milligan University. She's tucked in here sort of near the back, but with the size of this group, she's still about mid-bunch. Clark has not been going for these intermediate sprints. She may be going for that national title overall. She does have a good teammate in Michaela McPherson out there. And that's the black and orange kit we saw. Now focusing on the front of the race, the yellow shoulders there of CMU. Hickey came across the line first that last time around when they were ringing the Preem bell. So Hickey's going to need to reshuffle a little bit, get a little bit more protection from Seiler and Cummins as they come in. I do not know if Klaus would necessarily be responsible for protection at this point if Klaus is actually the protected rider for the end of the bike race. Right turn here, turn 2. Should be a little bit more of a tailwind section for you. We're looking to see what the field dynamic is as they enter 3. Looks like we're starting to be single file. A lot of yellow jerseys up near the front, and the 2 white helmets. One of those white helmets is Hickey. You know that much. This left turn, this is straight tailwind. This is the time when CMU cannot lose position. It looks to me like 3 CMUs and then Michaela McPherson in 4th position there for Milligan University. Big little push here on the outside. Perhaps this is another CMU rider putting themselves in a position. There are 5 of them. Samantha Scott also in this race for them. And Chloe Frazier, another rider for CMU. So Frazier doing a nice job putting herself up near the front to try and protect. We'll see if Hickey and Jane.
Hey, Larry. Sean.
Here we come for the sprint, and it looks like it's going to be Smalls trying to go for it. Hickey did try to challenge it. Hickey did try to challenge there, but it was Smalls getting that intermediate sprint. However, Hickey securing 5 more points there. So now the buffer that Hickey has for the end of the race could be enough that it takes enough pressure off of her specifically that she can start to become part of the lead-out train for Klaus, if that occurs. However, if the margin is small, so Cassie Hickey has a 23-point advantage over Lizzie Gonzalez right now. 23-point margin over second place in the Omnium. Looking at not only this race dynamic, but just the overall field size, Hickey could very well change her role into lead out, finishing almost anywhere in the field at this point. As long as she actually finishes on the lead lap, she should be able to lock up her Omnium. Therefore, CMU is in a very good position to try and protect and lead out Klaus for the finale here. So with Hickey's work done, that could allow CMU to really only focus on the end for Klaus. No need for Hickey to win or even place second in the final sprint, as long as she really finishes here on the lead lap within this bunch. Hickey should be your Omnium champion based upon those intermediate sprints. CMU on the front right now. They're doing the work. They're starting to try to set themselves up. They need to keep this race protected for themselves. Looking at 8 laps to go. 8 laps remaining. But Hickey now has a 23-point advantage in the Omnium. Hickey with a 23-point advantage in the Omnium, and now you see her doing the tempo at the front. So Hickey now doing the tempo setting for her program. She is now effectively, all things negative aside, she should be your Omnium champion. However, as we saw in the club race with our Michigan rider, things can happen in a bike race. A late puncture within the 5 laps to go margin, that would put Hickey in a position where she would actually have to chase. And while that's bad for her, it's actually worse for CMU, because then they lose one of their key lead-out riders. Hickey does need to finish today. She can't just puncture out of the race at this point and then call it a day and still win the Omnium. She does need to keep riding. But more importantly, she's an integral part of current pace setting and an integral part of the final lead-out. CMU now really keeping the pressure consistent, and as the wind is picking up here one more time, these tailwind sections are going to be places where CMU is not so much trying to drop riders from the back as much as preventing riders from changing position easily. We're trying to make it harder for riders to change position for as much time as possible. This is a place where, as the leader right now, you're also just trying to really monitor your effort. Look at the speed that you're riding and just keep it consistent and high enough that you don't cause this to occur. We have this overlapping and sort of bunching effect in the tailwind section. This is just a free move to the front for anybody that's mid-pack right now. That free move to the front is going to play an advantage to programs like Fort Lewis and Milligan, because that reshuffling occurred without any real effort on the pedals. CMU still on the front here. Big, long efforts here by CMU. They are just trying to get themselves to the finish line right now with as much of their team together as possible. They will need at least 2 lead-outs. So let's look at our composition here. We've got Hickey up near the front. I believe Klaus now up near the front trying to protect her position, and Cummins also up there. So Cummins, Hickey, and Klaus up near the front. Further towards the back, you're looking at Frazier, Scott, and Sealer. Interesting to see Klaus even needing to go to the front right now. Perhaps she ended up there almost by accident by being pushed up towards the front in that tailwind section. She's smart enough to know that she doesn't need to brake check her way back to the back. She can just ease on the pedals, and then when they're in this headwind section through the start-finish, she can just allow that to naturally occur. Sort of sag climbing, if you will, through the start-finish line, allowing the headwind to just ease her back into the protection of the bunch. This is your Varsity Women's Collegiate National Championship bike race right now. We are 53, almost 54 minutes into the race. We have only 7 laps to go for this Collegiate Varsity Women's bike race. The wind has been blustery here today, picking up and dropping off repeatedly. Right now it is picking up in a section where the women have more of a tailwind than headwind effect. We'll see if this current gust sustains. We are forecast to have very strong gusts here today. And some of the festival just fell over. So keep that in mind. The winds are strong enough to be taking down pieces of the Celtic Festival right now. So make sure your tents are secured here at the Balloon Fiesta Park in Albuquerque, New Mexico, because the wind is picking up and it is having an effect on this bike race. This group finishing for their final places. They will be pulled off the course. Big, strong wind gusts are now going to face these women in block headwind conditions. Block headwind conditions. CMU is still on the front. They've now been on the front for about 5 laps. They're now looking at 6 laps to go. 6 laps remaining. 6 to go. CMU on the front, tasking Chloe Frazier with the workload right now. That's a good strategy by CMU. Frazier, good domestique for that program. Able to put in the tempo paces when they need them. That will allow some of their finishers to stay protected a little bit longer. Anna Christian still in this mix for Savannah College of Art and Design. If we get into about 3 laps to go and the wind is still doing this to them, fatigue is going to be a major effect. It's going to really take the punch out of the CMU train since they've been doing all the pace setting at the front for the past 5 laps. They really have no choice though, because as the leaders of the Omnium now, it really is up to them to continue to do that pace setting. The other programs do not necessarily have motivation to keep the pace moving or really expending energy, because for them, they're now looking at the final here. Everybody else now looking at just today's result. You have a number of conference winners in this group. Samantha Clark from Milligan University. Kylie Small from Fort Lewis. Field now really being pushed into turn number 5. With this tailwind, gonna feel a little bit easier. It will be a little bit easier for the riders at the front to keep the pace where it is. But regardless, if you're on the front, you're still gonna have to be putting in the effort. You're starting to see how CMU is fading back a little bit. They're still trying to be the ones doing the pace setting at the front. Fort Lewis right there on the hip, trying to stay protected, a little bit of echeloning occurring by these riders. Now riders coming into 5 laps to go. 5 laps remaining at this point, 5 laps to go. 5 laps remaining, and Hickey is your leader. If you're joining us here today and you are enjoying the Celtic Festival, reminder, there's no riding your bike in the Celtic Festival. Please walk your bike through the Celtic Festival. So no riding of your bike through the Celtic Festival, please. Treat it like pit zone at NICA. No riding of your bike through pit zone. Riders at 5 laps to go, or about 4.5 laps to go right now, actually. Those yellow shoulders of CMU still at the front. This is now about 8 laps they've been on the front. Just doing all the work to try to keep this thing moving forward. They need to find that balance between putting themselves on the front and keeping the pace moving, but also not detonating their own lead out. They need enough time, they need enough energy, they need enough speed for their lead out to be effective for Klaus. Klaus does better from a faster lead out. Klaus needs to be dropped off at speed. It's harder for her to re-accelerate. And remember, this is going to be a short sprint. The sprint does not start until almost 100 meters to go at this point. And here we go. We're coming into turn number 6. 4 laps to go now. 4 laps remaining in the race. You can see those USA Cycling meters to go banners really flapping in the wind as they come up. This is Kate Seiler on the front for CMU trying to take over pace setting. Klaus is actually second wheel right now. This group has stayed the same for a number of laps. There's been no real drops from this group. It's been a very consistent group so far. The pace has been good. It's been fast. We're in the final quarter of this race, though, as we're coming down into the last 10 minutes of racing. This is a 70-minute competition, which would mean that we're at about 7.5 minutes from the finale. But at this point, the race will be finished with 4 to go. Then we're coming through with 3 to go. We're going to be looking at our wind conditions. We're going to be looking at the field dynamic. We're going to see who has not done a lot of work in this race. Fort Lewis has been very protected. Milligan, very protected. Savannah College of Art and Design, very protected in this group. CMU has done almost all of the work so far in this bunch. Will they have enough horsepower left to keep this pace going? Now, in New Jersey at the front right now, sort of drawing out a new bunch. This is very late in this race for this to be occurring, frankly. You would think that CMU would want to keep this in check, and it looks like the rest of the field wants to keep this in check, as I believe that's Fort Lewis keeping that leash short. And then Kylie Small now countering that move. Small now countering the move for Fort Lewis College. So Small counters. Small's now drawn out 3 others. This could be bad news for CMU. Have they burned too much energy in this event to respond? We're looking at 3 laps to go. Small is there. Cummins is there with Izzy Harden. Haven't spoken too much about Izzy in a few laps. And Anna Christian of Savannah College of Art and Design finishes the job of bringing that all back together. Big acceleration there, though, by Small. She's the conference champion. She also was driving the breakaway yesterday in the road race, where she did end up 3rd in that national championship event. A little bit of reshuffling now after the headwind section in the crosswind section between turns 1 and 2. You're starting to see CMU back at the front. Cummins was very attentive to that accelerations. Remember, Cummins on the national team, looking for an opportunity to represent our country at the Olympic Games on the track. Now they turn under this strong tailwind section. This will be a tail cross section right now, as we're looking at our big flags here at the funnel cake booth. And certainly some of the stronger gusts that we've experienced so far. The American flag on the start-finish truss is now full tilt. That means we've got some significant wind here at the start-finish line. That's going to really shorten up the sprint quite a lot. CMU now trying to drive this pace on the back straight with this strong tailwind. And look at that, Small now out of the saddle, trying to keep herself in contact with this race. Single file racing on the back straight right now. About to make this right-hand turn at turn 5. Now seeing crosswind section. Big crosswind. We'd expect echelons at the front, or at least a little bit of protective riding from the riders at the front, just to keep CMU in contention here. This can be a really hard challenge because they're about to turn into a straight block headwind. Big energy expenditure about to occur, and they are going to be coming into the final kicks of this race. Now looking at 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go, and it's windy enough that I think our big screen is going to come down. It's been too windy. 2 laps to go, ladies. 2 laps remaining. 2 laps to go. Seiler on the front. Cummins is there. Frazier is there. 3 of your CMU riders trying to do pace setting. The other riders each freelancing behind. Klaus and Cummins will try to get themselves into position to be protected for the final kicks. And then you have Cassie Hickey. Remember, she's already secured her Omnium at this point. I would expect CMU to try and use her as an asset for Klaus in the final lead out. Hickey has a 23-point margin over Gonzalez at this point. Gonzalez is still in this race, though, and Gonzalez has a very quick sprint. Gonzalez could absolutely win this race today. She does have a quicker sprint than, historically quicker sprint than Klaus. Klaus is a longer sprint, but they've each raced each other in cyclocross for a number of years. They do know each other quite well. The question will become if Klaus has a sweeper wheel on her that would put another body between herself and anybody trying to come around her. We'll see if Colorado Mesa is able to execute that tactic in this varsity women's collegiate road race. Criterium. Wind is strong and steady here. It has just died down a little bit. That's going to make it a little bit easier for the one-to-go headwind section through the start-finish line. Your leaders now coming into turn number 5. All the riders that are left on the course are part of this lead group right now. CMU with the yellow shoulders trying to protect their front position. This is going to be the point when the other teams are going to start to show their cards. They've waited this long. This is the time when they need to start to play the game of setting themselves up for success if they want to overcome the dominant yellow shoulders of CMU. As they come around turn number 6, if you're here in Albuquerque, let's make some noise for our varsity women as they come down the home straight for their second to last time. This is going to be 1 lap to go, 1 lap remaining for our varsity women's race here today in Albuquerque, a national championship on the line. You can see the lead out very clearly now for CMU. You've got Klaus at the back of that train, very clearly trying to be protected by the full CMU squad. You had Fraser on the front there this last time through, doing her final turn at the front. She will then allow Seiler to take over, and Cummins and Seiler will be your final lead outs, with Hickey being your final drop point for Klaus. Does anybody else in this field have what it takes to come around Klaus? You've got Michaela McPherson now challenging Klaus. Those two were teammates on Human Powered Health last year. Now they are racing against each other in this collegiate race. You also have Samantha Clark. You also have Anna Christian in the mix. And do not forget about Lizzie Gonzalez of Marian University. A lot of kick sprints in this bunch. Very quick sprinters means it's going to be a very late sprint. As they come out of 6, the sprint will not start until they start to get to those USA Cycling meters to go banners. Riders behind some of our funnel cake infrastructure here, and we'll see what our dynamic is. We should see yellow shoulders on the front, and they are there. Yellow shoulders still leading through with half a lap remaining. Yellow shoulders on the front. Can they assert this dominance and this control on this field? It's looking very good, but you've got McPherson on the wheel of Klaus, and behind them is Izzy Harden of Piedmont University. Behind Harden, it looks to be Christian of Savannah College of Art and Design, but we'll get some better eyes on them when they get a little bit closer. CMU doing a beautiful lead out. I hope they're rewarded for this class in execution of lead out trains here today. This is the final kick, though. They're getting a little bunchy. This is good for McPherson. Let's see if Klaus can hold it off. This is also good for Gonzalez and Harden. Any one of them could become a national champion here in a few moments' time. Here they come, ladies and gentlemen, out of turn number 6. This is the final kick out of the saddle. It is CMU trying to lead out Klaus. Can Klaus get it as they come to the line? Here comes Marian University with Stephanie. Stephanie Lawrence for Marian University, taking the national championship on the line. Stephanie Lawrence, the secret rider for Marian University, hiding out the entire time, taking herself a Criterium national championship in the final kicks. Lawrence is no stranger to winning national championships, sweeping the Collegiate Track National Championship contest last year. This year, Lawrence not participating in the individual time trial, not participating in the road race, only participating in the Criterium today. She made the final selections, and she used her experience on the track to get herself a national championship in our varsity women's Criterium. So I'm here at the start-finish line with our latest varsity national champion, Stephanie Lawrence of Marian University. Stephanie, you've won a number of track titles this year, but how many national titles have you won just this year?
Just this year with my team, I've been able to get 6 national championship titles.
6 national championship titles this year with your team. Now, is this your first
road bike national championship?
Since I was a junior, yep. So I haven't done road with Marion ever, so this is my first season being able to compete for the full road season and coming to nationals with them.
Very cool. So I saw you yesterday and you were like, don't tell anybody I'm here. And I was like, okay, I'll keep it a secret. And I did. We didn't talk about you at all throughout this entire race. Was that the strategy? Because Lizzie Gonzalez was going for some intermediate sprint points for Omnium, I assume. Was there any sort of strategy to just try to set you up, or were you just here to see what you could do?
There was a bit of strategy. We knew that I have a really good kick, but I typically only have one really good kick, so we knew those intermediate points would be really good opportunities for my super strong teammates like Lizzie, Liz, Marin, Katie, and Claire, who are all in there with me. So we knew that we could set them up for those points, but hopefully just keep me hidden in a group, keep me safe, and then get me to the finish.
And walk us through that final lap. It looked like CMU was really trying to protect Klaus for the sprint in a way, and it looked like they maintained a lot of control throughout the entire race. But then in the final 2 turns, it looked like things sort of shifted for us a bit. Walk us through that.
Yeah, CMU was really strong today. They had a big lineup on front. I was a little bit intimidated when they still had 5 girls in the lead-out train going through that last turn. They were keeping the pace high, and Michaela McPherson, who's a strong sprinter of her own merit, was right there. So I knew I wanted to be on that line. And then as we were going into the straight before this final turn, there was a great diagonal effect in the peloton, so I was able to get some cover from that side wind. Crosswind? I'm tracky. From the crosswind, and then get a launch off of the girls who were sprinting in front of me.
Yeah, it was a big launch out of turn number 6. Did it feel like a really long sprint with this block headwind?
Honestly, it was about 200 meters, so I would like to think that's what I'm used to with track, but I also think I don't remember all of it because it really hurt.
Instincts kicked in from the track. Well, Stephanie, congratulations on your first road national title for your collegiate career, and congratulations to Marion University on getting another national championship. Stephanie Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen, your latest national champion for varsity women here at USA Cycling's Collegiate National Championships in Albuquerque, New Mexico.